thank you for that. Like that was such a great I feel like my brain just expands in so many dimensions as we talk. It makes me a little speechless sometimes. Um, Ellie asks, hello, Ellie. Ellie asks, what would you love to share with teens or young adults about the qualities or thinking that have most contributed to your persistence and resilience on your journey?
Hmm. Wow. Well, yeah, one of the things that before we started the race, I invited a good friend, Mara Olson, who's Eric's wife, who asked the questions earlier, also from One Solution.
Hmm.
Mara did a session with our team on performance and, in a tough environment and in a team environment. And one of the things that she said that has stuck and that we always reference on the boat is to treat your mind like an etch-a-sketch, which is that, when those moments happen and you have thoughts or emotions that are not helpful, not positive, not having you feel at your best, is learn how to turn those little dials on the etch-a-sketch. And I don't know if young people today would know what an etch-a-sketch is, but the idea that you can just, turn the dials and wipe clean whatever that thought or emotion was, because it's no longer that, it's gone, it's happened.
Mm,
The only way it lingers is if you continue to give attention to it. And so the sooner you can wipe that board clean, imagine just having like a whiteboard where, when you're feeling a feeling that, or having a thought that's not helpful, that you can just wipe that away. And in that moment, you have a clean start.
mm,
And your next thought can be a positive thought. It can be a positive action. It can be, it can be whatever you want to choose for it to be. Um, that's something that, to be honest, I don't know if the sailing has taught me that any more than working with the kids in Chicago has taught me that, to see how they've learned how to live in the environment they live in and have a constant barrage of things showing up on their whiteboard and learning how to keep it as clean as
yeah.
possible to continue to move forward in their own lives. Uh, we've used that as a tool on our boat as a way to get people to back on track, to get the crew back on track. When something happens on the boat, if we rip a sail or we have something not go the way we want, like that, as a crew, we wipe that clean and we start and we continue on. Uh, that's something that I think every young person, we have to find a ways of teaching that when kids are young.
Mm,
That, they are not their thoughts, they are not their emotions, they're just the one witnessing those thoughts and emotions, and they have a choice on which ones they want to give attention to and which ones they want to just let go by. And if they can learn how to do that when they're young, they're going to make better decisions in life. They're going to get less caught up in some of the stuff the drama that goes on as young people. And, they're going to have a happier and healthier life in the long run because they're going to make choices to be that way
yeah.
versus, having that as be some aspiration that one day I'm going to be happy or fulfilled or whatever. It's like, why not have that be the default every day?
Yeah.
Um, so like for me personally, that's a learning I think I had before I got on the boat, was that, every morning, every time I wake up, uh, my default is to be in a happy and positive state. And not happy in the sense of like,
Hooray.
yeah, but just content,
Yeah.
okay, you know, you and I once talked about the tennis court. Like I'm in the midline.
Mm,
I'm standing on the baseline right at that little notch,
hmm.
because that's the midline where I can be at my best no matter what happens to me, what shot comes towards me, I can respond to it from that place in the best way possible. That's how I start every day, and on the boat, it's how I start every watch. And all I can do is to then deal with whatever might be trying to sway me off that by cleaning it away as quickly as I can and moving on and getting back to that place.
Because the way
Um,
that what happens with an Etch a Sketch, right, is you turn the dials to make lines appear, to make writing,
yeah,
to make things, and then the way that you get rid of it is am I right about this? You shake the
shake
Etch a
it.
Sketch, and
I'm
it
pretty
goes
that's
away.
right.
It's like magic. It's so much fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, Ellie,
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, just one other thing with Ellie's question, because I think for young people, the one of the biggest things I've um, learned, I think, or that's become very, very much a surprise, perhaps, to me. Um, you mentioned the AQP role, right? The
Mm,
assistant qualified person. Um, I think the I think the average age of the AQPs is about 24, 25 years old.
yes.
And even with the skippers, we have some skippers in their 20s and early 30s. Um, and these these young people are being put, in charge and given the responsibility of getting 65 to 70 adults, with all kinds of different life experiences and backgrounds and personalities, to get us around the world safely and competently and in a decent performance focus. Um, I'm not sure I would have believed that was that was possible for a 20-something-year-old to take on that role and to be able to perform it at that level. Um, but they have done so and done so beautifully, with to the credit. And I don't know how this has happened, but I'd say those that have done so without compromising their natural personalities, um, and just doing the best job they can to perform and do what they're capable of and support us in the way and in the manner that they feel best and that best suits their personality. It is amazing how just that and doing so and treating people respectfully,
Mm,
how quickly the respect has been returned to them,
mm,
and how much respect the crew has for them as a 20-year-old or a 23-year-old or a 25-year-old. So, there's young people that may think, well, it's 20 years or whatever before I could ever be a leader or take responsibility and help shape the behavior of adults. And but it's not true, right?
mm,
If you get yourself in the right environment, you get around some people who will support you, you bring some talent and your natural personality, and be respectful to people. um, People are going to not judge the age. They're going to judge the way you treat them
yeah.
and the way that you present yourself. And people are far more willing to give back respect to young people than I would have expected coming into this. I think I work with young people all the time, so I'm constantly getting proven that how competent they are in my coaching practice. But I there were a lot of people that jumped on the boat that I don't think that was their default when they started, and now I think we have a boat that's full of people that have a lot of respect for our AQP, but also across the whole fleet, all the
Hmm.
other young people.
I have some wonderful experience with an alternative high school near me, and there isn't a there's a real blurring of a line between an authority figure teacher and a learning student. And what's really fun is that, I mean, the kids teach classes. Like there's a kid who's teaching the most wildest class on linguistics that you
Mhm.
can imagine, and their knowledge of it is so much at 15, 16 years old. In fact, the director of this place went to a university where it was very philosophical, and he's got lots of friends from there. And one of his friends keeps saying to him, like, you can't possibly be reading the Bhagavad Gita with 14-year-olds. It just, you can't. And and so George will be like, here's another example of like
Yeah.
the amazing, when we just see them for who they are and let them really operate from that space and give them that respect and see them returning it. There's so much leadership there. Ooh, amazing.
Mhm.
So Ellie, just super quick, the Year Compass is a little booklet that you can plan, you can reflect on last year and plan the next year. And in 2022, which was the first time I did this, there's a part of it where you're asked, like, is there anything that you need to forgive yourself for? So in 2022, at the end of 2022, I wrote down a bunch of stuff and what I literally did was I wrote the words, all is forgiven over it. And a year later, I went back, like this past year, I went back and I was looking at that and I could not see, and I did not remember the things that I had been so upset with myself about. All I could see were the words, all is forgiven. And I just think it's this idea of like wiping clean, or it's so interesting when you you can make the choice to do that. You can see the thoughts, you can make the choice to do that. And I don't know, that made me, what you had asked made me think of that too. So, wow. I mean, wow, wow, wow. What a great conversation.